seen that Marvel just decided to just spoil the shit out of Thunderbolts on.
So I have seen that, and I was thinking about that. I can only imagine one reason why they would do that, and that's got to be for like, in case people were on the fence about seeing this, it is called new. Well, they spoiled it.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna spoil it here because Marvel fucking spoiled it. Like, I mean, it's everywhere. It's on their social medias. They had the cast like with the poster, and they peeled off the Thunderbolts asterisk, and they revealed the asterisk, and it's the new Avengers.
New Avengers.
So we didn't. Don't be mad at us. Be mad at them.
Yeah, they wasted no time. They gave it the weekend.
Yeah, they're like, if you didn't see it Thursday through Monday, then you're just fucked. Yeah. I mean, I see why they would do it from a marketing perspective, but like, having seen the movie, you can check out our review.
Yes.
I think it's a big spoiler.
It's a huge spoiler.
And to the point that in our spoiler-free section, we would not talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be a little upset if one of us was like, yeah, man, so like this new Avengers movie...
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, so that shit was kind of crazy. I haven't seen any numbers yet. Hopefully the movie's doing good. I think we all enjoyed it. So
yeah,
definitely, homies, go check out Thunderbolts.
If Marvel was churning out a Thunderbolts level movie every time, I don't think anybody would have checked out. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it might not be the best movie you've ever seen, but like,
if they can deliver like something that is solid, you know. At least in some aspects, uniquely its own thing, and you know, just if they could do that every time, then yeah, we'd be in a different boat with the MCU right now,
right?
You know, wholly.
Especially if they gave us, you know, some like crumbs to lead up to the next thing,
yeah,
which you know is what they're known for.
Thankfully, Marvel hasn't spoiled that yet.
Right, yeah. Yeah, well, they are going to spoil it for you, though, because the spoiler... So, you know how we were like, well, I'm sure nobody's going to see that. I've had 3 other people reach out to me and be like, well, I saw it in the credits. The song.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like... And all 3 of them said something to the degree of like, well, I'm sure not everybody's sitting there looking at the credits like I was. And I was like, no, everybody that we went with saw it, so...
Well, it's to your point, right? Like, when you're at that point in the credits where you see, like, the songs that are in the movies, you know that you're close to the end of the credits.
So you put your phone away and start paying attention, and then,
You're like, that song is in this movie.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't hear it yet.
And why would it be in this movie?
Yeah, that's odd.
And then, like, 5 seconds later, you get the reveal.
Yeah, so go check out Thunderbolts, and better yet, check out our review if you're on the fence. And you know, if you're still on the fence, then Marvel's like, hey, dog, come see this new Avengers movie. Like, okay.
You know, in other news, I actually, I don't do this too often these days, but I actually checked in for a Joe Rogan episode, the Jeremy Renner one.
Oh.
And yeah, he was recently on there.
Is this where he talked about why he wouldn't return for a Hawkeye season 2?
Yes, he spoke about that in a different interview.
Okay.
That I want to get to as well.
I know I had heard about that, and so I didn't know if that was it.
In this one, he spoke in great graphic detail about the incident.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy. That shit just sounded horrendous. Did you know he was conscious for the whole thing?
Oh, the whole thing?
The whole thing. And, I mean, guys, like, go check it out because obviously Jeremy does a much better job of describing his horrific incident than I could. But because of first of all, like the snow plow, it's not a plow that like we would think of, especially us being out here from the South. This thing has like tank treads, like it's an enormous industrial sized, like piece of machinery that he was using.
Yeah, it does like 2 lanes at a time, right? Like it's
and
it's a tank. It's a snow tank.
It's a snow tank. Yeah. Joe asked Jeremy, so like, what part of your body did it run over? Like, was it just your legs? And he goes, no, it got my whole body. Yeah.
But it got his legs first.
He got his legs first.
Which is why they were the most fucked up.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he's even walking.
Yeah, it's amazing that he survived it.
That he's alive, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to tell you, I watched a lot of the Indiana Jones movies, and nobody that the tank ran over ever survived.
the way you described it, and I could be wrong, but it seems like the reason why his legs got so much fucked up compared to the rest of his body is because that was the first thing I think to get ran over. And again, like he's awake for all of this. And but like I guess the way that it is, where it's like the pressure kind of evens out once it starts to kind of go over something.
Yeah.
So still sus because that's who knows how much that piece of machinery weighs. But at one point, and I didn't know this, maybe you did, but did you know that one of his eyeballs popped out?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And again, he was awake for that, and he was like, I think my eyeball just popped out.
Like, I can't imagine what is going through your head as you're being slowly crushed and you have no way to escape or get out, you know. I guess you could, like, saw yourself in half real quick. You know, Joe Rogan was probably like, well, what I do is I keep, like, a 30-gram patch of ivermectin on me. And then, and so, like, if I start getting run over by a tank, I just, real quick, just and then I'll be fine.
Oh shit!
But of course, you know, Jeremy Renner probably wasn't prepared for that.
He wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah.
You know?
So.
So the whole thing just sounded completely awful. Like, and then there's things that like you just wouldn't think about that he would have to deal with. Like, his jaw got severely fractured, and I think that caused like a molar to crack, and then that got infected. Like, just all kinds of shit happened.
Not only that, right? Like, okay, like as this thing is like slowly running over you, like what the fuck do you do if me and you were to roll up on Oz and he's been run over by a fucking snow tank, you're like, well, what the fuck? We can't lift that off of him.
Yeah,
you know?
You have to hope and pray that like, if you're gonna run me over and I can survive, just run me all the way over and keep going.
Keep going, yeah, you know? Yeah. So that you're like gonna. Well, I don't know, man. Like, that's not what happened though, right?
I'm not sure.
Because like you would think, so like the worst damage was to his legs because like all the weight of the tank was leaning on them before it evened out on his body. But like if it rolls all the way over you, then on the way out, like that's just gonna be on your head.
But I think at that point, because it's something weird about the weight distribution of the thing, where I think like where the most weight is, like the load bearing is going to be a lot lighter on the end that will be elevated.
Right, because the plow is on the front. Yeah. I don't know, man. I might have to give that a listen.
Yeah, that shit was wild. And again, extremely graphic. So listen at your own discretion. It's much more graphic than I could describe it. But yeah, he did also in a different interview speak about the Hawkeye season 2 stuff. Yeah,
man. So for those of you who haven't seen that, it's like they wanted him to come back for a Hawkeye season 2, but Disney literally offered him half of what he made on the first season, which I thought was absurd. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm not asking for an increase. I want to be paid what I got paid for season 1. And like, I think that's entirely fair.
Yeah.
If you could afford it then, you can afford it now, you know?
Does Marvel think they're in a place where they don't need an OG Avenger? Because I completely think the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to need Jeremy Renner, like, a lot, actually.
Yeah. And it's crazy because...
Is he confirmed for Doomsday?
I don't think so.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think so, no. No, he wasn't. Which is so fucked, right? Because it's not like Marvel has access to a lot of the OG 6 Avengers from 2012, you know?
Right.
I mean...
They have Bruce.
Yep.
And Hawkeye.
Thor.
And Thor.
Yep. That's it. I mean, and some of the side characters who have been elevated since then, like, you know...
Bucky. Sam.
Yeah, I was going to say... Bucky and Sam are actually both phase 2, you know?
Right.
But I guess War Machine, Rhodey, you know?
Yeah. We haven't seen actual Rhodey, but like for about 20 seconds in the last decade.
Yeah.
He was a Skrull for most of that shit.
And I really need them to fill us in with what's going on, like with him.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, another thing here really quick, because I do want to go back and talk about this Hawkeye season 2 stuff, but... How come there has been like next to zero marketing for Ironheart, which comes out in June?
Yeah, man. So all the, you know, I feel like Marvel is starting to lose their grip on like keeping all their shit together because like we've talked about how Doomsday is going to come out during Daredevil season 2, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, so I mean, if you're not caught up on Born Again, you've had time, so you know 2 weeks is like the acceptable. So I'm about to mildly spoil some shit here, but like, so Fisk has taken over New York, and he's doing Fisk bullshit. But there's a new set of Avengers in the tower, like. Yeah. Is Daredevil gonna get the Avengers? Like, I mean, that's gonna be an expensive episode,
bro. So,
because I mean, they're not like the A-Team, but like Florence Pugh can't be cheap.
Yeah, yeah. That would still be a very expensive episode, right?
David Harbour can't be cheap.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at this point, you know,
Sebastian Stan can't be cheap.
Yeah. So I don't know. And they are going to have to explain that, right? So I did notice this. Maybe I don't think this is a spoiler at all, but like there is somewhat of a time jump that we get in Thunderbolts.
Also, I mean, none of them wear a mask either. So
you have to wonder whose jurisdiction would outweigh whose. You know, like because at this point is the.
Well, I guess it's because like maybe like they work directly for the government, basically.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I mean the federal government would have jurisdiction there, but you still think they would fuck him up, you know?
There's got to be something, right? Because it's just weird if like there is no mention of this, you know, the shit that happens in one property doesn't affect the other, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, fucking Matt Murdock's giving this long-ass speech about, all right, we're going to take our city back from the brink, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, motherfucker, there's the Avengers Tower is like 3 blocks this way. Like,
I guess I will say this. Like, the shit that Fisk is doing, on the face of it, from a legislative standpoint, it all appears to be above ground, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I can completely see how, like, that shit is below their pay grade. Mm-hmm. And, like, fucking Madam Hydra's not going to send them after him.
Yeah, she's probably getting a kickback.
They'd have to find out about it on their own.
Yeah.
You know?
And then, you know, give a shit enough to do something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of always been the difference between, like, the Avengers and, like, the Defenders, you know?
Yeah.
Like, your potentially cosmic spacefaring group and your ground level citywide type teams, you know?
Yeah.
So... yeah, that's still, it's going to be interesting because, like, they have to make mention of it somehow. And then what about this spider guy swinging around?
You know, it's really funny, man. I was just thinking, like, you know, Peter Parker had to be watching that press conference.
Oh, yeah.
He was probably there taking pictures.
Yeah.
And he was like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm supposed to be in this.
Yeah.
How y'all going to have a new one? I'm still on the team. What the fuck?
No one consulted me about this at all.
Yeah, no. He's like, you can't just say you're in the Avengers. It took me like 3 fucking movies to get in the Avengers.
I had to agree to fight a giant purple alien to be accepted.
Yeah. And I was already on his ship when I got like anointed or whatever. Yeah, when I got Avengers Knighted. Well, that being said, man, should we venture to a galaxy far, far away?
We should. With that being said, homies one and all, welcome back to another very special episode of the Superhero Homies Podcast. My name is Quentin, and as always, I am here with the greatest co-host in the world, and Junior, the homie Caleb.
What's going on, everybody? It has been some very interesting times, and today we are here to talk about something that I have typically been very impressed with. That is Andor. You probably already knew that if you clicked on this episode. So we are going to be reviewing episodes 4, 5, and 6. These are the ones that came out just this past week. So we're getting 3 episodes every week, and we're going to be covering season 2 as it comes out. Oh, man. What's your overall thoughts on this chapter of season 2?
I thought that these 3 episodes as a whole, or just episode 4?
Let's do like thoughts on the episodes as a whole, and then we can break it down.
Okay. Here's what I really like about these 3 episodes is that they all flow together very well. It all feels like just one long cohesive piece of entertainment that you're watching.
Yes.
It doesn't feel segmented. It has zero of that episode of the week type feel.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Yeah, none of that is present here in this, and I think that's great for this type of story, especially. I mean, once again, just kind of regurgitating some of the same things we said for the last 3 episodes that we reviewed. The visuals are just gorgeous.
Yes.
I mean, it's still just a great looking show. It doesn't matter if it's taking place in day or night. Is great. These 3 episodes, even more so than the first 3, in my opinion, are super heavy on the political intrigue.
Yeah.
And
the subtleties are amazing in quite a few scenes, actually.
Oh yeah. But it's to the point where, like, dare I say, it is leaning way more heavily on the political than the intrigue sometimes.
Yes.
And I'm like, I need that seesaw to kind of be balanced out a little bit more. And it's not that the show is doing anything bad per se, but I can definitely see how this could maybe cause people to slightly lose some hype for it. I don't want to say interest, but I can see how it would cause people to lose some potential hype that they may have had. It's one of those things, right, where at its core, Star Wars is still adventure based,
right?
And this is political intrigue with Star Wars dressing, which I think for me is fine. But I can again see how a lot of people would have some issues with that. The pacing of these episodes, the pacing isn't bad for me, but it is one of those things where there are times where I'm like, okay, I see what we're doing here now, but I think I need something to break up this monotony.
Yeah.
How about you?
So, if you recall, when we first started talking about the format that they're doing here, where it's like, we're going to get a glimpse, we're going to get glimpses at the important events in each year leading up to Rogue One, right? So, in the first 3 episodes, we got a very interesting set of events and got to see how things work within Luthen's operation. Yep. And we got to see how the refugees from Ferrix were doing. We got to check in with all our characters, and see what Mon Mothma was up to. And, I said, well, I think that this format that they're doing could be really interesting if they handle it well. And I think that format is detrimental to these 3 episodes because this feels like the middle episodes of a season, which it is, but it doesn't give us this like kind of pop that you really would expect to get at this point. So it's kind of like what you're telling me is that this is like the highlight. This is the important thing that happened in 3 BBY, right? And I'm like, so what happened the rest of the year? Because like this is not, this ain't it. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate it. I just think that it was a bit of it's definitely a large come down from the first 3 episodes.
Yep.
Certain characters, when they're on the screen, are still killing it. I really love Cassian here. I actually think I like Cassian. The more we see of Cassian, the more I like him in general.
I agree with that, actually.
Yeah. I've said this lots of times. When he was in Rogue One, I didn't give a fuck about that character. Yeah. Not one single fuck. But Diego Luna is masterful, man. He really, I think he said he's been playing this character now for almost 11 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. He actually led the parade, the May 4th parade at Disney.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it was like a surprise thing. They like kept it really quiet that he was going to be there. And So he was hanging out with all the fans there that were in their like, you know, different Andor cosplays and shit. It was really cool.
That's cool.
But him, Genevieve O'Reilly, as Mon Mothma, I think she kills it consistently. I don't know if these are my favorite episodes, like favorite performances of her. I think the last episode, I think 3, was probably that for me. But there is one scene in particular where she absolutely knocks it out of the park here. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Luthen, as always, tremendous. Although in these episodes, he is not given that much to do. He's more of a force to make things move than he is like a character here. Which Luthen can be that, you know. He still chews the scenery in every scene he's in.
Yeah.
I fucking love Stellan Skarsgård as this character. I can't really get enough of him, you know.
The way that like he's able to switch on the personality that he needs for a moment is incredible.
Yeah, he's so believable.
Yeah, and even 2 seasons in, it's like I'm still kind of mesmerized by that kind of performance. You know.
Yeah.
At one point, he can be like, you know, just this cold, kind of callous. We do what needs to be done. And then the next one, well, you see this piece here comes from, and then just gush over it in this type of performative way that just seems so authentic.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Krennic is incredible.
Yeah.
He's always good, though. He's always just got that just smarmy, like...
He's got such a, you know, you guys talk about John Walker having a punchable face.
Oh, God.
Krennic.
He might have the most punchable face in the galaxy.
And it's a big galaxy.
Yeah, yeah. So those are definitely highlights for me. Like, anytime you see those characters on screen, and they're not the only ones, but, like, they definitely kill it. There's some, like, side arcs that we get here that I'm not sure why the fuck they're in this show. We'll get to that. And then what's supposed to be like the main plot, I think, I feel like the show builds it up like it's going to be similar to the Aldhani heist.
It is not.
And it fucking sucks ass. Like, by comparison, it's just not like, you're expecting there to be like something to pop off, or there to be this like kind of cool heist, or this like some anticipation, some anxiety, you know, inducing stuff. But
some tension.
Yeah, there's no, and it just kind of goes off, man. You think it's gonna be like the bank robbery in Ocean's 11, and it's just kind of like one of the random drug deals from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, on top of that, with that scene in particular,
yeah.
One thing I do have to kind of fault these 3 episodes for is that these 3 episode blocks, they kind of give us like the setup, the premise, and then the execution for said heist. And in that time frame, I really wish they had given me more of these characters to give a shit about. Because with the exception of 2 of them who we already knew, I didn't really care that much for, you know, one way or another for anyone who was directly involved in this heist.
Yeah.
And so that also, for me, kind of undercut the tension as well. And again, I like the kind of 4D chess that they're playing with the Gormans and all that.
The ISB stuff was really good in this.
Yes.
Shout out to my man Cyril, actually, in
Cyril,
this.
he's coming around into something.
Yeah. Yeah. The twists and turns with Cyril are actually fucking, like, that's actually where I think almost all the intrigue is right there. That whole thing is interesting. Let's start breaking it down, though. Episode 4 is called Ever Been to Gorman?
I have not.
I have not either, and I don't want to go there. I want to start with this because it's going to be a recurring theme. I have never once seen Forrest Whitaker on my screen and not wanted him to be there. but I don't know what the fuck. Let me reiterate, I don't know what the fuck Saw Gerrera's arc is here.
Okay, I was going to ask you.
Unless they're just trying to display that, like, he has gone completely fucking insane. Like, he was never that put together to begin with. And like, maybe that is what they're trying to show here, is that, like, he's just gone completely fucking bonkers, you know? But, like, that we didn't need, like, 9 scenes for that.
Yeah, we got a lot of scenes of just that. And, you know, it's like, don't get me wrong, I think it is in episode 5, or like, yeah, this guy's crazy, but he's still onto something. He spots a traitor, you know?
Right, yeah.
But yeah, his arc here I found to be a little confusing.
Yeah.
to put it lightly.
Maybe something is going to come of that. Like, maybe that gas or whatever it is that they ripped off, maybe that's going to be important for something.
It's Joker toxin.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, we got some Saw Gerrera here. And like, every time I've ever seen him, I've been really excited for it. Even when he was in Rebels, like, I always liked his character because, like, Saw is anti-Empire, right? But he's a fucking psychopath, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, he's there to demonstrate that being on the side of the rebellion does not make you a good guy.
Right.
You know, at all. Saw is an extremist.
Yes.
Like, in every aspect of the word, right? Yeah, I think him and John Walker actually probably would have got along pretty good.
You know, I don't know. I would actually say that, like, if these two characters would work in the same place, John Walker and Cyril might really hit it off.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they both got that incel energy.
Absolutely.
Although Cyril's relationship is going way better than John's. Which is fucked. Yeah, man. So, like, that's going to be, like, that's kind of a recurring thing. Like, the Saw arc in these 3 episodes, it's a nothing burger. It kind of swells into this crescendo where they just, you feel like this is supposed to mean something, but you're not sure what it is. Neither is the kid. Is that Will? Is that the kid? Is that his name?
Like, Willem or
yeah.
Wilson? Wilson, right?
Let's see what his name is.
It did start
Willman.
with W. Willman, that's it.
Yeah, Willman. The kid, his dad got killed in the first season, or got tortured and then killed. Yeah. So Luthen sends him to Saw, I guess to operate this machine where they can, like, unlock or extract this particular gas or mineral or whatever it is. Some shit that's supposed to be really dangerous. I'm assuming Luthen didn't send this kid out here so Saw Gerrera could get high as fuck.
We assume,
yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. Like, this has to lead to something.
It's got to lead to something, bro.
Maybe this is like how they build the Rebel fleet or something. You know what I mean? Like, maybe this leads to that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like the format of the show hurts it here because we're given each chapter each week as like this kind of complete story. And then you have something like this in here that in just the context we have makes no sense. And
there's going to be another time jump, right?
Yeah, it's another year.
And so there's so much that could happen in that year.
Yeah.
And it's to the point where, like, it's a lose-lose because from a storytelling standpoint, if episode, where we're going to be at, 7. If episode 7 picks up and we're just continuing right where we left off with Saul, that's, to me, is subpar storytelling. What have you done for a whole year?
Yeah.
You know? He's
still standing out there monologuing to that kid. He's like eating an apple. He's like, you want some?
Yeah.
Anyway, as I was saying.
But if they don't do that, then they're still damned because we're going to miss out on whatever the fuck Saul's been doing. You know? And they're going to have to try to reverse engineer and explain that.
Yeah, they're going to have to do something like, you know, Cassian walks into a hangar and they have all these fucking ships. He's like, where'd you get all these from? And he's like, oh yeah, I've been having this happen. Saw Gerrera did all this. You know, he's gonna have to. Someone's gonna have to explain this shit.
They're like, Saul got high, and then one thing led to another.
Saul got high as fuck. Showed up with the fleet. I didn't ask any questions. Like, all
right then.
So let's talk the main kind of story here, which is the Gorman stuff. The way this is set up is actually like really interesting. At the beginning, I will say the thing about this is that all the interest in it, like at the beginning of it, is so interesting. It can't stop being interesting, and then it slides, and you're like, but it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to go up. Because in the beginning, right, we have on the one side, we have the ISB, and like, we're kind of led to believe that Cyril has branched off, that like, Cyril is legitimately considering defecting from the Empire. Yeah. Which I was like, what the fuck? Because they actually had me going.
See, I'm not going to say they had me going because I need to see some evidence. Like, I know it's been a year, but I'm like, I need to see.
Like, what happened to make him leave Daedra? Yeah, you know, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, and really for me, that's where I'm the most interested in. Is that like the more you go down the rabbit hole with those two, not like their bedroom times, but like I can't imagine what that sex is like.
Andor after dark. It's probably a lot of her telling him what to do.
Sometimes that's okay.
And probably him being like, yes, mommy.
Yeah. Okay. I'm upset that I asked that question. But here's what I'm thinking right now. And I could be completely off basis, but like I can definitely see there being like a rift or a splinter between those two, you know? In part because I think that Cyril is, I think he is loyal because in his mind he really feels that like this is the right course of action. Whereas I think, and you know, I guess I just think that that if he sees that, okay, I know that I was just playing a role here, but like this shit really isn't the best course of action. Right. I can see that causing a rift.
And I'll be honest, I'm kind of for it if it plays out that way. Me too. I think it'll be brilliant, actually. Yeah. Which, I mean, if they can make me actually like root for Cyril, that's going to be impressive as fuck. That's an arc right there.
That's a hell of an arc.
Because he's like the lamest dude in the fucking galaxy when you meet him.
Right.
I'll never forget him rolling the one on his Captain America speech. Like, that shit just stands out so bad. He's like, all right, man. Well, we have a job to do, and we're good at it, and so we're gonna do it. Go team.
It's bad, right? Because like his character sheet is almost the exact opposite of Cap's. Because Cap has got like 18s, 19s, and 20s like across the board. Yeah. On his character sheet, whereas Cyril, charisma -2, modifier.
Wisdom -1, intelligence -1. Constitution, probably a 0.
Probably a 0.
Yeah.
On a good day, it's a 0.
Dexterity, he might have a +1 in dexterity. He might have
a +1. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Strength, probably a 0. Yeah. It's like he's just not really. Yeah. He isn't about it. He gives that speech like a fast food restaurant supervisor. Right. You know. We got an important mission here to do.
That's right, guys. So. You know that corporate's coming down to visit today, so it's very important that we serve these customers.
And everybody's just like, I'm making the same amount I made yesterday, right? Well, you can get the same shit you got yesterday.
Oh, shit.
Oh, man. But, you know, on the one side of it, we have Cyril, he's leading the Bureau of Standards there on Gorman, and he is playing this role super well. He's doing an incredible job with it because he was actually selling me on it for a minute, especially when he called his mom and everything, and she was like berating him for leaving and all that. Because at first I'm thinking, okay, well, Deidre has to be here with him, and that way, like, she got him this job so she can be close to the situation. It's actually much more brilliant than that on her part.
Right.
And, like, this is where we really get to see, like, how fucking ruthless and cunning she is, because this whole thing that she has planned here, she's playing them like a fucking fiddle.
Yeah.
And so then we have enter Cassian. And so we think it's going to be Cassian, who is incredibly good also, versus Deidre here.
Yeah.
And we already know how that goes. Cassian 1, Deidre 0. And we think that they're about to intersect again here. And then Cassian, Luthen's like, hey, man, so what do you think? And Cassian's like, nope. And he leaves. Which is brilliant because that is what his character would do.
Right.
Because for Cassian, you know, and I actually love this here. Like, you got to see some of the actual, like, espionage from him. He takes on this, like, was a silk trader, like that kind of thing.
Designer, I think.
Yeah, he's a designer. And so he slips into this role. He buys a whole new wardrobe. And Diego Luna looked pretty damn snazzy in that wardrobe. I'm just saying.
Had the slick back hair.
Yeah. And he's playing this character. And he gets there and he immediately realizes that this little Gorman rebellion is amateur hour.
Yep.
Like,
they are in over their heads completely.
Yeah, and they're like, well, we got a connection. You know, we got somebody on the inside with the Empire. And he's like, are you sure they're not just bullshitting you? Because, you know they do that, right? And they're like,
nah, trust me. This guy's good.
Yeah, this guy's on the up and up. And Cassian immediately goes to Luthen and he's like, yeah, this is a no. You can stay involved in this if you want to. But, like, these people, they're about to get fucked.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just do what the Empire says.
It might be better for them.
Yeah.
And this is, like, for me, where things, like, I just love, like, the different kind of branches of ideologies here, like, between Luthen and Cassian, because I think they both have very good points, just from different POVs, you know?
Yeah.
Like, Luthen, he's like, well, these people, they have the desire and they have the hope and they have the will to fight. Like, that's what should be nurtured. You know, you shouldn't, you know, you can't just pick and choose who you want to fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have the will to fight. We should help them as best we can, you know, to facilitate this thing. But what Cassian is saying, which is also very valid, is these people are going to get fucking massacred.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, Luthen is well aware of that. He has to be.
Yeah.
Because he's very intelligent. But what he always says is the rebellion matters most.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is Cassian knows 100% that, you know, Luthen, he's an operative to Luthen. Mm-hmm. And the way that Cassian really comes to understand this is because, you know, Luthen doesn't really care about him and Bix as an item.
Nope.
Cassian doesn't know about this, but we see the opposite with Vel and Cinta. And Vel and Cinta both kind of choose the rebellion over their relationship, especially Cinta. Whereas Cassian and Bix don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, yeah, we fucking hate the Empire. They're like, but, like, we're not going to be like Luthen and literally give up our entire, like, if we can't have a life, then there's no reason to fight them. Like, they already won, you know? And Luthen does not see it that way. So Cassian knows that it's not like, oh, Luthen was willing to risk me for this. Okay, well, this must be a big... He's like, no, he would burn me over 5% chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's like, those are better odds than I've had in years.
Yeah, if stepping over your burning corpse means that, like, he has a slightly increased chance of success, that's what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he's willing to burn it all if that gives him what he wants.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Luthen, like, he is. I mean, he it's all mission for him. Mm-hmm. these are pieces on a chessboard. They're not humans.
Yeah.
The way he looks at it is like he sacrificed everything. Like he has given up everything for the rebellion, and so everybody else should be willing to do that too.
Yep. Is anyone in as deep as him besides like Clea?
Yeah, as I say, Clea is. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mon. If people found out,
Oh yeah, she'd be turbo fucked if people found out.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, though, she still gets to live a pretty cozy life, if not extremely stressful.
Mon is, in a situation where it's like she believes that she is giving up everything for all this shit, but in reality, she's a rich girl. She lives a rich girl life. Granted, all her relationships are horrible, but I have a feeling that they would be anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because she's just obviously she's a lot more like progressive than her daughter, right? Mm-hmm. And
how does that happen?
Propaganda.
Oh yeah.
She grew up in the Republic, and her daughter grew up under the Empire.
True.
And one of the key tools of fascism is to stoke tradition as a propaganda piece. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, that'll never work here, though.
Oh yeah. Thankfully, we live in a country where that could never happen. Yeah. Whew. Safe. Galaxy far, far away. Yeah. No correlation to real life whatsoever. We're good.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. I'm glad. But so and then her husband just looks at her as like the fun suck of everything. Yeah. He's like she's way too serious, and he's kind of aloof, mm-hmm. and more whimsical and like trying to have a good time. And she, she's all business for the most part. And I really love her character, but like I said, I don't think the rebellion existing would change that she's got a terrible relationship with her family.
Yeah.
And her arc in particular here is not super interesting, but she does have some really great scenes.
Yeah, she does. I feel that like most of her great moments are kind of tied to Luthen and then what he's doing.
Yeah.
They did actually build some tension with me. I think it was episode 3 with Clea trying to get that tracking device.
Yeah, we'll get to that for sure. Yeah, because the third episode is really good. It's just, it's almost like the things that they wanted to be really good aren't really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember because like these are such like
they blend together.
It's really a 3-hour block.
Yeah.
So I think that this first episode, we get the intro to the Saw Gerrera stuff with Willman. Mm-hmm. Cassian is out. I think this episode ends with him calling in Vel, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, because so Cassian is like, nope, I'm out. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, well, I think Luthen actually talks to Mon, right? Or something like that about the Gorman thing. And he's like, yeah, I sent in a new operative or whatever.
Mm-hmm. We didn't mention anything about the big stuff.
No, so Luthen actually goes to visit. That was hard to say. To visit Bix. To visit Vix. While Cassian is gone. And this does end up pissing Cassian off in the next episode. But we also, before Cassian gets sent, we kind of glossed over this. He has Cassian and Bix in a safe house between missions. And, they're kind of like trying to live a life there. Mm-hmm. They can't get too comfortable because it is just a safe house. But, they're like, ask Luthen if we can leave stuff here, I don't know that they ever said, and I couldn't really figure out what planet they were on. It's definitely a big city, but it doesn't look busy enough to be Coruscant.
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. I don't remember seeing which planet.
It would be hilarious if they were hidden out on Coruscant though, like right under their noses.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is the last place they'll look.
Hidden in plain sight, yeah.
Yeah.
It is a pretty nice high rise they got there, though. All
Yeah.
things considered.
Yeah, it's a nice apartment, man. The rent on that shit would be out the ass here.
Holy shit. Yeah, this would be $12,000 monthly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Imperial credits only. None of that other bullshit.
Yeah, I think that Luthen actually visits Bix in episode 2.
Oh, is it 2 before Cassian gets home?
Yeah, but in 1, we can still see that there's she's still pretty fucked up.
Yeah. So Bix has started taking some sort of drug that helps her sleep and not have these crazy nightmares.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. And Luthen, when he does come to visit her, he's like, yeah, you can take that for a little while, but eventually, like, it comes back worse. Mm-hmm. And that's how there's like a real life thing that you can take for sleep that's like that.
Heroin.
No, well, that works too. But this is like a non-narcotic substance. I can't remember what it's called right now. But yeah, it's like the thing that your body produces when it makes you want to go to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't think of what it is.
Melatonin?
Yeah, melatonin. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. You can take melatonin, but if you have like nightmares and shit, I don't recommend that. Because melatonin tends to make people's dreams like more vivid.
That's right. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if you're having night terrors and shit, you really don't want to take that shit. Because you're just going to get hard trapped in there.
Right.
So, and they're just going to be worse. But, yeah, I'm guessing that was kind of the basis for that, but just maybe like more of a narcotic version. Because it doesn't seem like the shit is street legal either. Mm-hmm. It seems like it might be some smuggled shit.
Yeah. Do you think that at any point so far Cassian knows about this?
About the drug?
Yeah.
It definitely looks like she's hiding it from him. But who knows, how long she's just left in this place.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, we don't know how long he's on Gorman, how long it takes him to get there, get home.
Yeah.
We know he's there for at least a couple of days. And, like, this is probably a regular thing.
Well, Luthen said, with travel, he was probably gone for, some days. But I think Luthen says he was only there for, did he say 2 days?
Yeah.
Like, damn. That was a real quick assessment.
Yeah. Yeah, he was like, So the Gorman, situation, Cassian's out, Vel is in. And I really like Vel as a character. But we also have to remember that when they did the Aldhani heist, when Cassian got there, their shit was not together.
Yep.
And I quote, "What would you have done if I wasn't here?"
Yeah.
Because they got to a part in the mission where, like, they would have just all been killed if Cassian hadn't been there. Mm-hmm. They would not have known what to do.
Yeah.
And they would have fucked it up. So, while I like Vel, I don't think she is this, like, leader or commander or planner that Luthen is trusting her with here.
Yeah.
I do think she does a very good job of, like, trying to get these guys in line because they have no sort of organization to them at all. But this is where we also and I think we're into episode 2 now, which episode 2 was called "I Have Friends Everywhere." Yeah. So I think Andor, the actual Cassian rejection doesn't happen until episode 2. We also learn here that the ISB, this is where we learn that the ISB knows about all of it. Cyril is a plant for the ISB.
Yep.
And these guys are, like Cassian said, probably going to get completely fucked here.
Yes.
Because they know all about the heist. Like,
yeah.
They're playing them like a fiddle.
Every detail. And it's like the shit that Cassian says to them is 100% factual. It's actual factual.
And they actually, the ISB raids Cyril's office just to add to it. And, like, Cyril acts pissed about it, you know?
It's a great put on.
It really is. Like, Cyril is killing it here.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder if he feels, like, used. But I also feel like the type of person that he is, he probably is just, like, thrilled to, like, have feel like he's got a purpose.
Yeah, he's a hell diver. I'm doing my part.
Yeah,
you know,
for democracy.
for democracy.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But no, Cyril's really coming into his own here, and yeah, I am a bit impressed. It might have been in episode 1 where like he goes to like this kind of town meeting in Gorman.
Yeah.
And you know, I forget who it is, but someone asked him like flat out in a joking way, "Are you a spy?" And he's like, no."
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
That'd be crazy, man. What?
This episode, unfortunately for Mon, is where we get a whole lot of her like running around trying to turn up votes. They put their was it PORD or whatever plan in in the first season, and she's trying to vote to like overturn it since it's apparently like not needed now, and she's finding out that a lot of the people that she thought would be with her on this are like, nah, I can't be pissing off the Emperor.
Yep.
You know, which it's interesting to see how like we went from like a galactic senate to, you know, now it's like, oh well, this is what the Emperor wants, and like this is what everybody's going to go along with, because yeah, it's just the appearance of a democracy.
Yeah,
you can't go against the Emperor. You know, who knows what the fuck the Emperor did to you?
Yeah, it'd be crazy if the guy had like finger lightning, you know.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking wild.
Yeah, that would be insane. Good thing he doesn't have that.
Yeah, sheesh.
What's really interesting too in all of this, I'm glad you brought that up, is like nobody knows that Palpatine is a Sith.
Yeah.
Like, nobody, really. You know, like Obi-Wan knows, Yoda knows. I mean, obviously Vader knows.
Yeah.
But like, and then maybe I guess one or two of his little like people that are always on either side of him, you know, or his like royal guard. But beyond that, like, nobody knows about the Sith or the Jedi really in like society as a whole, you know.
So what do you do if you get the job equivalent of like Emperor Secret Service, like one of his right hand men, and then you find out, oh no.
Well, by then, man, you're just fucked because like you're in lightning range.
Yeah, I know you're in lightning range.
And I don't know how much like someone who's like not trained in the Force, like I don't know how long you can hold out against Force lightning. I feel like it's not very long though.
Because I don't think it's a low voltage.
No, because I've seen people who are like very well trained Jedi get fucking rocked by that shit.
Yeah, like that's a pretty high voltage, you know, that he's hitting you with.
Because I think in episode 2, Dooku fucking fries Anakin.
Oh yeah,
with some of that shit. And then, like, he tries to hit Yoda with it, and Yoda just, like, absorbs it or whatever. And he's like, yeah, man, I ain't a little bitch. But, like, if you don't have any training at all, I don't think that goes well for you.
No, probably not, you know. I imagine that, you know, if you're lucky, your organs just burst from the immense heat. And, and then you're dead pretty quick.
Which, you know, it's crazy how quickly the Empire was able to, like, erase the Jedi from society. Like, you know, the official story is that the Jedi were traitors, tried to overthrow the Republic, and, you know, the heroic act of the, you know, of the Emperor and like the army or whatever was able to repel their attempt to take over. And so, yeah, I mean, like, that's the only thing that you would know about, and he's basically erased them from society in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, that part is quite impressive, how they've just been able to rewrite history.
Well, because you got to think, too, like, I think maybe at the height, right, like, of the, like, during the Galactic Civil War, I think they had a couple hundred Jedi, you know? So there's a lot of fucking planets, man.
Yeah.
The odds that you would have ever run into a Jedi are very low.
That's true.
You know? Like, extremely low. And like, even if you live on Coruscant, like, yeah, you probably, like, fly past the Jedi Temple or whatever. But, like, you ain't never been in there, you know? You don't...
Yeah.
You know, you just like, oh, yeah, that's the thing. So it's not like everybody really truly knew, like, across the galaxy, like, what the Jedi were about anyway. as a matter of fact, the mystery surrounding them is kind of like part of their whole shtick.
Fair. That is true.
So it's not unbelievable that he would be able to do that.
Yeah. He's got reach and he's got holes in different area codes.
He does. I'm sure he does.
I mean, he would have to. What's the point of being emperor if you don't have holes in different area codes?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, man, I feel like that would be awful.
Having holes in different area codes?
No. I mean, like, being one of Palpatine's hoes.
Oh, that would be awful.
Yeah.
You just have to hope that he's never in your area code.
What do you think he does all day? Like, you think he just like eats like the most expensive dinners and? Like,
yeah, he does that, and I bet he also non-ironically enjoys like their equivalent of black licorice.
Probably tortures some people.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think that he gets his rocks from a political standpoint off of like looking at bills and things that could be passed. Well, this will grant an allotment of money to orphans in this region of the galaxy, and then like he'll let it get so far and then he'll reject it.
Yeah, don't need it.
Yeah. I think that he gets his rocks off of shit like that.
Very likely.
Yeah.
And like subverting different like non-human species and shit, especially.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
They've been mentioning him a lot this season, also. By the way,
they have, yeah. I don't think we're ever gonna see him.
I don't think that there's a reason why we would.
Yeah. I mean, because it gets difficult, right? Where it's like the only thing that it would maybe make sense to see is if like you see him dissolve the Senate or whatever. But it's also like if you're gonna get Ian McDiarmid, do you really want to bring him in for 10 seconds?
Yeah.
And then like I think he said he was done with it after the Kenobi show.
Thought he'd be done after fucking Skywalker.
Right. There's no telling like what the check was like for that Kenobi show. He wasn't. I don't even know if he was physically there.
That's true. Probably not.
Because it's just like the hologram, the Skype call or whatever. Yeah. He's like, I heard Luke Skywalker killed himself doing this shit. I got a machine that does it for no problems.
Yeah, no health problems at all.
Yeah.
The idiot.
I told that little motherfucker I was going to get him. Turns out all I had to do was get really far away, right. And he need to have something he really needed to tell me.
Goddamn.
Yeah.
Somehow he returned,
and maybe he will return in this show somehow. But yeah, I doubt we're gonna see him. I don't think this show needs any like big cameos from like him or Vader or whatever. So we get Cinta and Vel, and we kind of see how they're running the Gorman thing. Mm-hmm. And while I do applaud their like kind of militaristic kind of style of trying to get these rebels shaped up to actually like not get massacred, the ISB is so far ahead of them on this.
They don't even know.
Yeah.
They don't have like the slightest idea just how deep in the shit they are.
And as soon as like they reconciled and like Cinta like started explaining everything to her, which like this was a really great scene where Cinta's talking about their relationship and how, you know, she almost got killed on a mission, and it made her realize like that you know, while she was full tilt for the rebellion, like she didn't have a life and like she missed Vel and wanted to be with her and everything. And the whole time that they're having that conversation, I was like, one of y'all about to die.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. I said, but which one is it going to be?
I kind of thought it was going to be Vel, but like, as like things progressed, I was like, it actually should be Cinta. She's the stronger one. Mm-hmm. And she just had her like kind of full character arc where she's like, no, this is what I really want. I wasted all this time, you know? Yeah. And it's like, well, sometimes you can't get it back. And honestly, like, seeing where Vel is going to go from here will be very interesting.
Yeah.
I think she's going to end up dying, too. I think a lot of these characters are going to die.
Oh, for sure.
Like honestly, out of the main cast, like Cassian and Mon are probably it as far as living through this season. Well, and Saw is out.
Yeah, Saw, which doesn't mean a whole lot. You know?
Nope. He needs to lose a leg at some point.
Oh yeah, so we got to see that, right?
Yeah, we have to see how he ends up being like half Vader, basically.
Yeah.
Because he's got like a whole leg missing. Mm-hmm. I think he has like a arm here down. Yeah. And he's got the breathing thing. Yeah.
So we got to see how that happens. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Like I thought that part of that shit was gonna happen in episode 5 here.
Yeah. You know? Is this where we get the crazy monologue or whatever with him?
Yep.
Yeah. This shit made no sense, folks. It just don't make no damn sense. I got nothing.
Yeah, it's at the end of this episode where that happens.
That's right.
And I was like, okay, so all of that for this, huh?
Yeah. Okay. This goes literally nowhere. Nowhere. But key to this episode is we find out that what's the guy's name? Skolden is having a party, and
Davo.
Mon and her husband Perrin, they're talking about all these parties they have to go to because there's this big thing where all the Senate people are doing these like parties and everything, and they're like, oh well, we'll go from this party to this party to this party, and they're like, we got to go to Skolden's last because of course like their daughter's going to be there and their family basically, and they're like, we can't dip out of this one early. So around this same time, though, Clea overhears that one of the pieces in Skolden's collection is fake, and Skolden is livid about this because he loves his collection. So Skolden's like, we're going to have all these pieces taken out of here, reevaluated, and make sure they're all the real deal. And they're not worried that the piece that they gave him is a fake. Nope, they're worried about the fact that they have a bug in his house. And like
that
this
leads directly back to them.
It leads directly back to them because the piece came from them. We find out this was Clea's idea, and she's always telling Luthen that he's slipping.
Yeah,
you know, and so they're like, well, we've been invited to the party. Thankfully, we have to go there and get this thing because if we don't, it's gonna get discovered. It's gonna lead directly back to us, and like this motherfucker is hanging out with Krennic.
Yeah.
So, like, he's going to tell the Empire about it, and the Empire is going to search their fucking shop. Ooh. And then there is no telling what they are going to do to them.
Bruh. You hop on that fucking souped-up spaceship he has, and you get the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure just him owning that spaceship is illegal as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And then they're going to find out that it's the one that shredded that Imperial Star Cruiser in the first season.
Yeah, dog. I mean, talk about swimming with the sharks, you know.
Yeah.
And just not even knowing it.
Yeah, this one little mistake could bring down the whole damn rebellion, basically.
Yeah, it could.
And so they're like, well, we got to go to the party and get it out.
Yep.
And I think that's all of episode 5.
Oh, yeah, 5.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Because episode 5 does end with the Saw stuff.
Yeah. Episode 6 is called What a Festive Evening.
That's the way to put it.
I'm pretty sure this one opens with Cassian beating on Luthen's door at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Is that how it starts?
I thought so.
It might start that way.
Well, I know that's in this episode.
It is in this episode, yeah.
So Cassian breaks protocol hard. Shows up, beating on Luthen's door, and Luthen's like, the fuck is wrong with you, dog? And he's like, hey, man, you went to go see Bix while I wasn't there, tried to recruit her for some mission, blah, blah, blah. And, like, Cassian's damn near done with him at this point. And I did love here in this scene because, like, as I've said before, when the two of them are on screen together, it's hard to fuck it up.
Yep.
And I love this scene because we talked about how we needed to get some... at least a callback to the way season 1 ended.
Yeah.
And we do finally get that here where, you know, Luthen is like, you said, kill me or take me in.
Yep.
Here you are. Like, I need you to get your shit together, you know. And Cassian's living, man. He's not having it.
Yeah.
Because, like, he cares about Bix more than the rebellion, ultimately.
Oh, yeah, he does. And Luthen does not.
I'll be honest, man. Sometimes I think that Luthen, and you know that Luthen has at least thought about this, that, like, if Bix were to get killed somehow, Cassian would be all in. Mm-hmm. He would have nothing to live for but this.
Yeah.
And, like, it's very, very likely that we are going to see that unfold. Ooh. Like, Luthen may not get her killed intentionally. Like, I don't know if he would quite go that far.
Because that is real dark stuff.
Yeah. That's so fucked.
Yeah.
But also, like, if he thought it was the only way.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. Like, if it was crunch time and he knew that there was a real fucked up job that only Cassian could do, but Cassian was like, fuck it, man. No, I'm gonna go live off on planet Thanos on his farm with Bix, where it's safe. And I mean, I can totally see Luthen, in his roundabout way, staging Bix's death, actually killing her, but staging it to look like it was the Empire.
Yeah, if he had to.
Yeah,
like I really do not think that there's anything like that Luthen wouldn't do to bring them down. He says as much to Bix.
Yeah.
He's like, we're going to bring the bastards down or we're going to die trying.
Yep.
And that's it. That's his whole life.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, he spends all day, every day. Everything is for this. And it makes him such an interesting character, but it also makes it where you can't trust him. Yeah. He's lost his humanity, basically.
Oh, yeah, he says as much in season 1.
Yep.
So any shred of humanity that he once had is long gone.
Yeah. He says his life is a sunless space.
God damn.
Yeah.
Like, that's dark as fuck, my boy.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, if it came down to, like, Bix or the rebellion, he's choosing, or anyone, he's choosing the rebellion every time. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Without hesitation.
100%. So this is where Cassian kind of fucks off, and we kind of leave him and Bix for a lot of this until the end.
Yeah, I feel like we maybe missed some shit with them that we probably should have seen.
Well, Cassian, yeah, that's true. Cassian does go back home and has the confrontation with her and finds out that Luthen was there, and then Luthen comes back, and yeah, I do think that there's a lot between Cassian storming out of Luthen's shop.
Yeah.
And the end of this, there's just like, it feels rushed as fuck when you finally see this scene. It's like, this should have been a big, huge payoff, but it doesn't hit,
It doesn't, right? Especially when you consider like how meticulous they have been with like other elements of these 3 episodes. But then with this, it's just like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, you couldn't have left the whole Saw Gerrera arc completely out and given us like some of this,
They were like, look, we had Forrest Whitaker contracted for these episodes, so we're going to use them.
I mean, I can't, I can't blame you, but it's like, it's not like it doesn't make sense for Bix to want to do this, but we never even see her be like, it would make a whole lot more sense if like, she wakes up in the middle of the night, she's having a nightmare about Gorst or whatever, and Cassian like shakes her out of it, and she's just like, I can't stop thinking about killing him. Like, I can't live while he's still out there, saying something along those lines. But we never see that.
Right.
She doesn't even say anything to Luthen about it,
Yeah.
And it's just like, we find out in this episode that, like, I guess the Emperor is going to start using Gorst galaxy-wide. Like, he's like, this is too useful to just have the ISB have it. The Emperor wants to use him directly. And I guess that's not going to work out.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult now.
But, yeah, the end scene where Bix, and we'll go back to the Gorman thing, but the end scene here where Bix, she basically stalks Gorman, or Dr. Gorst, to his house. He looks like he got like a cake or something.
Yeah.
And she fucks him up, puts him in the chair, and like puts on that god awful sound that they torture people with, and he's up there with it on for a while as she exits the area, and then her and Cassian like blow up the whole floor. And I mean, this just feels like such a risky fucking thing to do.
It's incredibly risky. And I'll tell you this much, man. I would be turbo pissed if like there's like no real fallout or consequences from that.
Yeah, and at a minimum, Luthen should be livid.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking broke into an Imperial facility and, like, blew it up, like, without a plan or anything, just all willy-nilly.
Yeah, dog. Like, that's some shit that can really backfire in a bad fucking way.
Yeah. I mean, we got a cool, like, the good guys don't look at explosions moment, I guess, but it does not hit the way that the episode, the way I think they anticipated that it was going to hit.
I mean, because they ended it with it. So they really expected this to be like the thing that hits.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, oh, God, I can't wait to see the next episode. Whereas I was more just like, did we need these episodes? You know? So let's go back to the Gorman thing, man, with the heist, I guess. This is amateur hour compared to the Aldani heist. It's the same episode number, too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they both have an episode 6. So it's almost like, oh, yeah, we're going to do a sequel.
Right.
But no.
Man, yeah. I was almost going to say maybe it was meant to, in every aspect, feel like amateur hour. But I'm like, that's almost too meta.
Yeah. And I agree that, like, they had a decent plan, but, like, it's just all very plotting. Nothing too interesting happens.
And then, like, on top of that, we as the viewers, like we already discussed, we know that, okay, the ISB is ahead of you guys.
Right.
You know? But even that tension, it's like, okay, well, I guess we'll see what happens with that next time.
Right. Yeah, they don't even, like, so you would think the ISB would maybe put some fake shit in the crates or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, just let them steal it. But it looks like they're playing the long game here. So, like, they probably did put a bunch of, like, weapons and shit in there.
Yeah.
Because essentially what they realize they're doing is they're arming this faction.
Yeah.
Which will escalate the war.
Yeah.
You know? So now these guys have, like...
Now they have a reason to go in there and start blasting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because before they didn't. And, like, they're using them as a reason to do what the ISB wants to do. And this really establishes Daedra as this very formidable and just competent villain, you know. Even Partagaz is just, like, kind of amazed with her performance here. He's just like, because, you know, he's skeptical of it. He's like, I don't know if this is going to work. And then he comes around, he's like, okay, you know.
Yeah, the shit fucking worked.
Oh, yeah. It was like, they rolled a 20 on this. Critical success. But unfortunately, Cinta is killed in the crossfire here.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
The scene sucked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very much like, was this the last thing y'all shot? And, like, y'all didn't want to have to come back. Like, y'all shot this on a Friday at, like, 7. And they were like, if we wrap today, then we won't have to come back here Monday.
That's what it felt like. It was baffling, bro.
It was kind of like the Talia death scene from Dark Knight Rises. Not like the actress though. Like the actress that plays Cinta is basically flawless the whole time. But like just the way that this is shot, it has no tension, no build up, and then it's just a random shot that like if they had panned the camera back, this would have looked so fucking silly, which is why they don't.
Yeah.
It's literally, you see him tussle with the guy, and then you just hear, Pachoo! And then they turn to her, and she just has the hole there.
Yeah.
And, like, you could put a laugh track behind this. Like, if you just wanted to, and just make it ridiculous, because it is ridiculous.
It really was a little cartoonish.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like, I'll be honest, and I'm sure this is probably just a me thought, but I was distracted by like the burly guy who was, you know, tussling with the other young guy.
Yeah.
Because when I saw him, I was like, he looks like an alien from Men in Black disguised as a person.
He really did. He
like,
really did.
I think that like there's like a little aliens there, like with the head on a stick,
moving his body.
Yeah, like this, like he's not real.
that dude did look weird, right?
He did.
He looks like a weird space dwarf.
Right.
and I'm like, all right, well, okay, whatever. But that scene, the way that it's shot takes everything out of this really impactful death.
It does, man. It does that, and and at this point, like, as soon as they started tussling, did you also know that Cinta's the one that's gonna die?
Yeah, yeah. But I also was like, this is stupid even before it happened.
Yeah, it's like everything was going against this scene, Like, there was no tension. We knew what the outcome of this was going to be. It was shot very poorly. It was structured poorly. It structurally speaking, like, it just wasn't a good scene.
And then we even get the scene where Partagaz is like, okay, make a bunch of noise coming in there so that they know we're there. But we don't even really get to see that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Because, like, that would have been awesome, like, if we got a battle here and she got killed in the crossfire, And Vel, kind of, she's obviously, like, grieving and she's, like, berating them for it and everything. And I'm like, Cassian fucking told you guys that this was not it.
Yep.
And I mean, granted, she's still going to be, like, tremendously hurt and upset. I love where she's just like, basically like, none of you guys were worth what she was worth, And like, yeah, Cassian tried to tell you guys that.
Yeah.
Like, why are you going to, like, send your legit, like, hardened fucking operatives in here to this literally lost cause?
Right.
So.
Yeah, and for what,
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, the whole thing is the whole thing was quite fucked.
It's going to lead up to, we know that the Gorman massacre is coming. I did like in these episodes that they referenced, like, that memorial that's out there on that big platform. So the story with that is, like, shortly after the Empire was formed, there were protesters on Gorman, and they were on this platform, and they're protesting on the platform to keep more, like, Imperial ships from coming in. Well, unfortunately for them, they were doing this when Tarkin was trying to land his shit. And so he just landed the ship on them. And, like, that's what the memorial is there for, because he killed, like, I think, like, 70 fucking protesters.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's cold-blooded as fuck.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm trying to land my ship. Boop.
Yeah.
And so, like, Gorman already has this kind of, like, anti-empire kind of thing going, and then all the propaganda, the ISB and the, what was it, Ministry of Enlightenment, the most fascism sounding shit you ever heard. They're spreading all their propaganda about the place. So, like, the Empire is going hard here. I don't think it's going to go well for this planet, and definitely not for the people on it.
No.
I do think that we're going to get an interesting kind of direction for Vel's character after this, because she's got nothing left to lose now.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of already answered this, but man, like, what do you think we're going to get in the next batch of episodes?
I think this has to escalate. Like, this next batch of episodes has to escalate into the Gorman stuff, right? Like, I think they need to have a battle.
Yeah.
Between the Empire there and the rebels. I don't want to gloss over, I think, the highlight of this episode, though.
Yes, let's go back to that.
So Skulldug's party is awesome. Like,
it is.
all of, like, this is probably the highlight. All of this works so well. You have Clea killing it here.
Yes.
So Clea goes up to the ISB guy that they have, and I can't remember his name.
Me either.
But this is like Luthen's undercover ISB dude. And she just goes right up to him, and he's like, the fuck are you doing? And she immediately, Luthen has trained her so well.
Yeah.
And she's like, listen, you met me at this party. They're going to assume we're flirting, whatever. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's just like, bitch, if you don't play along, I'm going to smack the shit out of you. Like, and she's like, I want to show you my favorite piece downstairs. And so she's using him as a cover to get this bug out of this statue, And all of this with her was awesome.
Yes.
Mon and Luthen are both here. Them being on screen together, 10 out of 10. But then my favorite scene of all of it is where we get to see Mon and Krennic.
Yeah.
This interaction between the two of them. Because they're both so on top of their game. And the way they interact with each other here is so legitimate, right?
And this is where the tension is.
Yeah.
Know? And it's interesting, right? Because if you look at like the heist and then the final scene of this episode, you get the feeling that like that's where they think the money is.
Yeah.
But it's like the money's here.
Yeah, the money is here with these super interesting characters.
Yeah.
And the incredibly talented cast playing them. And they're all playing fucking 3D chess here.
Yes.
In this one room.
Right.
And, you know, even the ISB guy's like damn near shitting himself because he's like, do you know who is right over there? He's like, that motherfucker is crazy.
Yeah.
And I love, you know, the back and forth where Mon's just like, oh, it's so nice to see you off the witness stand or whatever.
I'm like, oh, that's how you open it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like there is definitely no love lost between these two.
Yeah, this whole scene I thought was incredible. And they both played their part so well, you know, like Krennic with that shit-eating grin on his face the whole time. You know, saying all the right passive-aggressive things, you know, it was funny.
But making her look like the aggressor.
Yeah.
You know, in part of it. It was tremendous. Clea played it up really well, although when Krennic asked her about why she liked the piece, this is probably the only thing in this scene that I probably would have done a little differently, is like she kind of freezes.
See, at first I couldn't tell if she froze or if she was just waiting on
the other dude to answer. And I think she probably was, you know? Mm-hmm. And that's probably the right answer here. I just don't know that
I don't think they needed that hesitation there.
Yeah. I think he should have just immediately like shaped up and come in with, because like he might be anxious, but this motherfucker's been infiltrated the ISB for years. Yeah, like he's good, you know.
Gotta be, or else he would have been found.
Yeah, he's literally in the center of their intelligence agency as a rebel operative. Yeah, he's been Cyrilling for years.
Yeah. But this scene I thought was incredible, and like the tension was so high because, you know, Clea, she's just struggling to fucking get this thing.
And you know the real wild thing about the Gorman stuff is like only Daedra and Partagaz know about it, which is why Luthen doesn't know about it. Yeah, and they're even keeping shit segmented from the other ISB people. Right. So I kind of wonder is like the fact that this went off without a hitch gonna lead Daedra to go or Partagaz to be like, we kept this shit from the other ISB people and no one found out about it, so is there a leak? Yeah. You know? I wonder if they're going to come around on that.
They could. I mean, especially Daedra, you know? Yeah. Especially because, like, Daedra's, like, she's way more on top of it than I think Partagaz is, you know?
Yeah, so, I think so.
Yeah, so like he might be the one to ascertain that, okay, there's a leak, but she'd be the one to find it.
Yeah. The guy who's actually handling the Axis case now, him and the rebel guy that Luthen has, and then there's one other dude at the ISB. The scenes that they had together, did they seem a little kind of like a little homoerotic to you?
Yeah. And then like it threw me off because I had to sit around myself. I mean, don't get me wrong, like this happens all the time.
All the time.
But I was like, he has a family back home, right?
Yeah. It's like Dave Chappelle said, I'm sure there's a lot of gay men here in the audience tonight with their wives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
And so. I certainly got that same thought.
Yeah, I was just making sure that I wasn't like Rule 34ing it, that they actually were doing it, you know? I wasn't like projecting that it was coming out of.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, it was definitely there.
It did not seem like a hanging with the boys. Yeah. You know? Mm-hmm. At least not the kind we do. Right. Yeah. This is like they're gonna go drink some blue milk and then like somebody's gonna end up being Little Spoon.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot more that's gonna come with that lunch you gotta buy him.
Yeah. Yeah. It really, they were laying it on kind of thick there. Yeah. I was like, Okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
like, I wasn't mad at it, but I was like, oh, this kind of came out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah, it just is something going to come of that, or
I don't know. And it's like, if something does come of it, like, I guess like this at this point in the story, to what end?
right? Yeah,
No pun intended.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Not in which end.
Yeah.
But no, this whole party scene was awesome, and yeah, I agree with you. It's like this is where the focus was, like all the Gorman stuff. It's like we knew it was going to go badly, and then it was just kind of a nothing burger of that. Like you're like, oh, well, we know how this is going to go, or maybe they're going to, maybe there's going to be a surprise of some kind, like something's going to go wrong, whatever. But no, it plays out pretty much like you think it's going to play out, and like the one moment that's really got any kind of tragedy to it is undercut by how badly it's shot and presented here.
It plays out like the AEW exploding ring match.
Oh God. It's like this is exactly what you thought it was going to be.
But somehow
not as cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting back to what you were saying, what do you think we get next week, or this week? Actually, it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah. By the time you guys hear this,
By the time you guys hear this, the new episodes will be out.
a year's gonna have gone by, so we definitely got to be into the Gorman Rebels, like openly waging conflict, which is gonna lead to the massacre, like you said, and I imagine that's maybe where episode 9 maybe ends.
I've got to see very clearly here, like there needs to be some more semblance of a rebellion in the third season or the third chapter, because we were supposed to see that over the years, but like as of right now, we really don't. Like
you're true.
You just got Saul's little camp, and then you have these all like different planets or whatever. Now, granted, like when Mon Mothma goes and makes her speech, which that's got to happen in the last chapter. Like there's no way it happens in 3. Because that's going to be like a big highlight. But when she goes and makes that speech and like officially like defects, that is when a bunch of the planets, are like come out into the open and say, okay, we are joining the rebellion against the Empire. Little do they know that like that could get your whole planet deleted.
Yeah.
But they really don't, they don't really know that yet.
Well, the Empire's just working on a peacekeeping
energy initiative.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
energy initiative.
No need to be concerned.
No, not at all. So I think this next set of episodes, I really need to see like the Rebel Alliance doing some shit. I need to see Luthen like. I think that things need to start to come apart at the seams a little bit for him, because he's always so put together. They are kind of in this episode. And I think in the next episode, we'll see that kind of progress, because I definitely think Luthen's going to get killed.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the character, but I'd sort of be disappointed if he didn't. Because if he doesn't, then where the fuck has he been?
Yeah, if he doesn't live, then like, why isn't he in Rogue One? He would have been all over that shit. And I mean, I guess you could assume that he would have sent Cassian there. He would have been Cassian's person or whatever that sent him there. But Cassian is taking orders from a different dude in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Like they actually have a Rebel Alliance at this point. So you'd think that Luthen would be around if he was alive, you know? But I think that Luthen's going to die in the last episode. Vel could very well live. I mean, there's nothing preventing her. Bix is a goner.
Yeah.
I think we could see Bix die in the next set of episodes.
I think so too.
Cassian also needs to meet K2 sooner rather than later.
Oh yeah. So that's got to happen soon-ish.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to save some of your really big shit for the last chapter. So I think the K2SO stuff, I would do that in the next one.
Yeah. So if Luthen dies, what do you think happens with Clea?
Oh, I think they both cut. I think they both die.
Okay.
I honestly think Clea may end up being what costs him. Like, I think she'll make another mistake, and Daedra will get her, and then Luthen maybe.
Yeah. What do you think happens the next 3 episodes with Deidre and Cyril.
I think they're going to ramp it up. Like, I think they're going to ramp up the assaults. It'll be interesting to see if like there is a rift that comes in between them as a result of all this. Mm-hmm. If so, man, Cyril probably going to die. Like, if he actually like joined the rebels or whatever, he going to die.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's going to roll that inspiring speech.
And he rolls it with disadvantage with his negative modifier.
Yeah. Yeah, and like all of like everybody in the rebellion is going to be affected by this failure. Yeah. They're going to start the battle demoralized.
Right.
At the beginning.
Oh man. Do you think that Luthen is the type of person who has an idea for what should happen after the Empire's overthrown? Or do you think he's just so consumed with overthrowing the Empire he doesn't think about the next day?
Yeah, I don't think he thinks about the next day. He's no Ellen Venture. I think that he's relying on Mon for that. Mm-hmm. I think she's the person who has that sort of thing because, you know, she was in the Senate when it was still the Republic.
Yeah.
Like, she actually is in the Clone Wars. She was like a young senator from Chandrilla during the Clone Wars. So.
Shit. Yeah, I mean... That would make sense then. Yeah.
So, I think that she's who they're relying on for that. I actually saw a thing over the weekend, and it's Alan Tudyk who voices K2SO, and he's actually talking about there's a scene where, because he's an Imperial droid, so there's a scene in Rogue One where he's pretending to have Jyn and Cassian like captive to get past some stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And like Cassian goes to talk and like he smacks the shit out of him. And Cassian like puts his mouth up or his hand up like this. And this is completely improv. And he's just like, and there's a fresh one for you if you mouth off again. And Diego Luna actually breaks. And that cut made it into the movie. So like they freeze framed it and you actually can see Diego Luna. He pops a little smile out like that, because like he's cracking the fuck up. And he's like, I can't believe that cut made it and that it's in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
He's a wonderful man. I really would like to see, some K2SO. I think the show could really use it at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So we want to score these and get out of here? Or?
Yeah, let's go ahead and score these.
All right.
I think it's on you.
It is on me. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
It was the time of times.
The time of times.
It was the time of times.
Yeah, these are 3 of the episodes of all time. I got to say that this is the most unfocused this show has ever felt. Even in the first season, in the slower episodes, you always understood the purpose and where we were headed. Mm-hmm. They may throw some twists and turns in there, but you always understood, like, either while it was happening or shortly thereafter, like, what the purpose of certain things were.
Right.
Like, some of the stuff leading up to the heist wasn't that great, but the heist was amazing.
Yes.
And it all just really, really works, right? And in these episodes, I can't say that. Like, some of these arcs really work. I think Cassian and Bix works, except we missed the third act almost entirely. I think Luthen's stuff here works. I think Mon's stuff here works. But the Gorman arc, this like at the very center of this, I guess it works for what they're trying to do, but the execution is not great. There's nothing in this that makes me like hate it where I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. But there are a few things that make me roll my eyes and go, literally, I mean, the cinematography that we normally get for this show and the way that things are shot, and then all of a sudden for this really crucial character death, we're getting lazy and shooting it in a way that takes what little drama was there, I feel like it really misses the mark in a lot of places. It doesn't suck, it's just not good. And then there are plenty of things in here to love. Cassian's whole trip to Gorman the first time, like the back and forth, like where Daedra is on to them, Cyril's playing his role, Cassian goes in. All of that stuff is set up excellently, but the way that it all unfolds just doesn't land. I'm going to give this set of episodes a 6.5.
Okay, yeah. So when I think about how this season of television is segmented, right? How we get 3 episodes per week, all at one time. I think about like how each segment of 3 episodes, in theory, can kind of function like watching a movie. Episodes 1 through 3, I would say, definitely does that.
Oh yeah.
Episodes 4, 5, and 6, they feel like the middle episodes of a season of television.
Yep.
And a lot of times, those middle episodes, they can feel a little bit plotting. They can feel a little bit slow. They can feel a little bit out of place at times. Almost like you're kind of spinning your wheels while you get to the back half of the season where things begin to pick up steam again. It feels like the obligatory. We got to kind of spin our wheels for a second and buy some time when we get to the real good shit. There is a lot of good, though, in these episodes. With that being said, there's still a lot that I really enjoyed. Still a lot of really great character moments. And there's still a lot of really cool things that stand out. But these are, for me, definitely the weaker set of episodes so far this season. And, and that doesn't mean that these are bad by any means. It just means that I certainly enjoyed these less than the previous 3. This doesn't feel like its own movie.
It's a terrible movie. If it is. This movie needs some work if that were the case. But again, the things that work still do work really well. And it's so weird because I feel that some things needed less emphasis on these episodes and other things needed more. And we're just at the point now in this series where we can't really afford to have those kind of mistakes happen. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Well, there you have it, folks. We're pretty close to being on the same page here. It's like, to go off of what you said, we have 6 hours to wrap this whole thing up. Mm-hmm. We have 6 hours to wrap up 2 years of how the rebellion is formed. And it feels like we don't really have time to, spin tires. And they do a good bit of that in these episodes. I think the format heard it here. I'm hoping that next week, maybe we can get, some sort of semblance of making some of this stuff that didn't make sense. Maybe we'll have that moment where we go, oh, okay, I see why they did it now. But if we don't have that, man, then yeah. I mean, this doesn't mean, 2 weeks from now, I could be sitting here like, oh my God, this season is a 9.5 as a whole. Mm-hmm. It was amazing. If a lot of this stuff is going to make sense next week or the week after and really lead into something else. But yeah, I mean, as it stands, they kind of are just treading water when they really can't afford to do that.
Yep. No, I agree, man. I agree. And I think for me, the next 3 episodes are really going to be crucial to see if they're back to form like the first 3 episodes, or is going to lean more towards the kind of pacing and the kind of plotting that we got in these 3 episodes.
Yeah, because if you fuck up 7, 8, 9, mm-hmm. And it would not be the first time Star Wars did that. Then it's going to be really hard to get everybody back to the moment for 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
So.
Agreed. Well, homies, there you have it. Our thoughts, feelings, review, breakdown of Andor Season 2, Episodes 4-6. Not the worst Star Wars television we've seen.
Oh, no. No, it's not even in the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, folks, it's going to be something else. Next thing we're going to be bringing to you, we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Season 2, Part 1. So that's going to be episodes 1 through 4. That'll be coming out later on this week. We will be giving our, I would say, eagerly anticipated thoughts on this very divisive show based on a very divisive game.
Yeah, who'd have thunk? And we'll also be talking about, which I'm sure you've heard, the dip in viewership after a certain episode.
I called it.
Who would have seen that coming?
Yeah, I mean, I called it, bro. I was like, the numbers are going to trail off. I don't know there's going to be...
They didn't trail off. They fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I don't know there's going to be a season 3 of this. Unless the numbers come back, I just can't see HBO renewing this show. It's got to be expensive as fuck to make.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but I think they've committed, right? I may be wrong. I thought they were already greenlit for season 3.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are greenlit for 3, but that don't mean there's going to be a 4.
Oh, I can't imagine there being a 4, right?
I can't imagine a 4 anyway.
Yeah.
There's not a game to base it off of.
Yeah, there's not a story there anyway.
And can you imagine Neil Druckmann just off the cuff, just shooting from the hip?
Oh my God. Oh, that's terrifying. That's scarier than anything he's ever written.
So in the first episode, Ellie gets bit, and you're like, oh, whatever. And then she turns.
Like, but Neil.
Yeah, you don't know why. That's the thing. That's the thing. Okay, it's like, are you gonna explain that?
And then we're gonna put you in the shoes of Abby again.
Yeah, and Abby is hunting this like vicious monster.
You see, it's a metaphor.
Yeah,
you know, because we shouldn't say this out loud. He might hear this.
Yeah,
and then be like, "This is actually brilliant."
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh,
see, she was working for the cordyceps the whole time.
Oh wow, that's what happened.
Yeah.
She was always infected, but she was just a sleeper agent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they activated.
Yeah.
All right, folks.
Okay, that's enough of this.
We'll see you. We'll see you when we come back for Last of Us, and we can expound upon Neil Druckmann firing from the hip more.
It'll be the most we laughed that episode, I'm sure.
Yes.
That's going to be all for now, homies. We will see you guys again soon. But until then, my name is Superhero Homie Q.
I'm Superhero Homie Caleb.